so that if you need to, you can actually put it straight in, put the kids straight back into school.
So Amanda is a teacher and a single mum, and I'm just going to ask her what her thoughts are on homeschooling. So, yeah, now you can start again.
I believe homeschooling should be a choice that is made by the adult for the benefit of the child. So it shouldn't be for any other reason. So if the child needs to be homeschooled, or it's best for the family that they're homeschooled, then they be homeschooled regardless of what your family situation is. In order to do that, though, you do need to have the foresight that those children need to be able to be moved into normal schooling if at any point the situation changes. So for my instance, I had a very ill child, so I needed to make sure that she, when she got better, was able to go into school if that was what we wanted to do at the time. And in order to do that, you need to make sure that you cover the curriculum. Now, you need to make sure that you cover the basis of the curriculum and that you are in line with the Australian curriculum, so that when a child goes, comes into high school, for instance, they're not still doing year 5 maths when they're supposed to be doing year 8 maths. If they're ahead, it's not a problem, but it's more if you have to make sure that they don't go behind. And in order to do that, you need a heap of resources, and that's where it's hard. So a website that can give you a link to a whole heap of resources would be fabulous. I know that there was I haven't had a look recently, but there was a website that the Copacabana Primary School in New South Wales did, and it had a whole heap of games and stuff like that you could link to. So homeschooling is it's not an easy way out. It's hard work, but it also builds relationships within the family really beautifully too. It can. So even though I'm a teacher, I think there is definitely a place for homeschooling.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There you go. Anything else?
I think that was the question I asked. Just your experiences with it.
I as I said, I did it for 6 years.
Yep.
And I did it because my daughter had a medical condition which precluded her from full-time schooling.
And you found it successful, you said?
Absolutely. Because she could only go 2 or 3 days a week to school, it was very disruptive for her. So we did homeschooling so she could have consistent schooling. We joined groups that, like, we would do a science term, and we would have one afternoon every week for the whole of the term. We would go to a friend's house and we would all do science. So there would be kids ranging from, year 6 down to year 2, and we'd all do the same sort of science. Obviously, we all got the same information. One person would collate all the information and send it through, and then we would take bits out depending on what our child was, what level they were at. We had a fantastic time. Sarissa was also able to, she kept up with all her schooling, but we also were able to do things like riding and other things that she wouldn't have been able to do before if she was at school. And I also found emotionally she was a lot better being at home, because the stress of trying to keep up with everyone was just too much for her. So, and that, I mean, she does have a medical condition, so she was very fatigued. But being able to homeschool her meant that I could change what I needed to do when I needed to do it, depending on how well or how sick she was.
Okay. And so you said
she's moved into full-time school in year 8 perfectly.
So she transitioned easily.
Very, very easily. Yeah. But in order to transition her easily, I always made sure that I did worksheets, and I sort of followed a similar style that you would have at school, in that there was type of work that they would ask for. So I researched quite substantially what wording that they would use, like persuasive writing and those sorts of things, so that I knew the actual terminology that they use in school, and I could use that same terminology for her. And we had a designated area, which was her school area, and that area was only used for school. Mind you, it was just a desk.
Yeah.
But it was a desk in an area, and when it was school time, we would go and we would do our schoolwork, and then we'd go off and have so much fun. We'd have coffee, all sorts of fun things. But we were able to fit it in amongst fit in her schooling amongst the other things that we enjoyed doing together.
So you said that it's big in Adelaide, but not so much in Brisbane.
Not actually in Brisbane, like Gympie and when I came up here, I moved up from Adelaide to here. We had a very, very big cohort of kids that were in Adelaide, and there was at least 15 groups actually in Adelaide that you could join, and depending on what your religious persuasion is, or your thoughts and your values and stuff like that, you could find a group that you'd fit into. When I came up to Brisbane, I found a lot of groups in Toowoomba, Gympie, the Caboolture, those sorts of places, but there was nothing in Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know a couple of people that are homeschooling, and they've had the same problem in Brisbane. So that's.
Do you think like parents or mothers would have trouble finding resources for homeschooling if they weren't you're a teacher, so you sort of know where to look. Do you think that some mothers would find it hard to find resources, and it would make it handy for someone to collect all the resources?
I think if you to help single mums who want to do homeschooling, if you had a site that pointed to different resources, that would make a huge difference, because to actually find the resources to use at the right level that are going to give you the outcomes that are needed to, when you homeschool, you don't necessarily look at the year level that they're at, you look at what they're performing at. But at the end of the day, by the time you hit the end of primary school, you have to have achieved a certain level of reading, a certain level of maths, a certain, that sort of thing. So in order to be able, if you could simply put that into a website, or even point people, because a lot of people don't know where those things are.
Yeah.
So you just need to point people to the right directions, and then if you had one resource that did that, that would be fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's not just resources for schoolwork though. It's also resources for, like, there are some ballet classes that do homeschooling ballet classes.
Yeah.
So there are other homeschooling kids that are actually go to gymnastics or go to ballet during the day.
Mm-hmm. So an extracurriculum homeschooling program.
Yeah. Or where to find
resources.
It's resources. It's where to find them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest thing that you need to find. And you don't have the time. As a single mum, you've got to try and make sure that you've got, organised your finances so you've got enough food that comes on the table. You've got to make sure that you keep the house reasonably tidy. You've got to do discipline. You've got to cook meals. You've got to do the laundry. You've got manage all the calendars of the kids that are there, as well as trying to keep them on a level playing field. Mm-hmm. And being the only adult, that's a lot of responsibility. So if you add homeschooling on top of that, it can become overwhelming for people. Mm-hmm. So if you had a website there, or a resource list or something that you could actually go to, they do give you people to contact and some sort of a list of people and things like that do homeschooling. But again, all the lists that I had, none of them were in Brisbane anyway.
Okay.
So homeschooling is actually really important to connect socially with other homeschoolers or with other kids. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to not have them available you don't want them to isolate them from society.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to do is still keep them doing things with other kids so that they still get that social interaction, but then that they would normally get at school, but you do it in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think we covered what we talked about before with the homeschooling. So I'll just go through the questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fun. When I get a text, I might need to call.
Okay.
Where are your pajamas?
We're right now, though.
Okay, I'm just finding the questions. So how would you describe your dream life?
To be financially independent.
Mm-hmm. I don't have to repeat everything back now. What was the next one? If you could have a magic wand, what would you wish for?
$2 million.
$2 million. For you and for others, what would you wish for?
We didn't have that one.
I think I skipped the other ones. For others.
A magic wand for others.
Yeah.
I would want my daughters to be well.
Yep. What do you aspire to be or to have?
I don't inspire to have anything. I'm over materialistic.
Just your house that you spoke of before.
Oh yeah, I inspire to have a house, but even that,
yeah.
I don't really. That would be nice. That's a nice to have. I want to create memories with friends.
Yeah.
That's what That's what I'd really love to do.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to get that?
10.
10?
My every waking moment is about it.
What's the maximum you would spend to have that?
$2 million.
Oh, and you spoke too about you wanted to be a music teacher. So you wanted to be able to have the freedom to be a music teacher.
That's why I want to be financially independent, because you don't make any money from, you can't live off what you do with violin, but I really enjoy inspiring and helping parents with their kids and inspiring kids to be able to be better people and to learn to play the violin, which is like the sign part of it all.
But if you were financially free, you would just be a music teacher and not be working? Yeah. Okay. What frustrates you and what are your biggest challenges?
Putting food on the table is my biggest challenge. It frustrates me that although I have many assets and I'm very good at many things, I can't get a job.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What are your biggest challenges?
Money. Really, that's my biggest. If I had enough money to live off and I didn't have to worry about bills, my life would be perfect.
What's important to you?
My children.
Mm-hmm. What are your biggest concerns and what worries you? What scares you?
The biggest concern I have and the biggest worry I have is that I can't get enough food for the kids. What scares me is actually being alone after their
Okay. What are you most proud of and what excites you?
I'm most proud of surviving my life so far. A bit of background to that is that...
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
So 4 years ago, my husband left us and left us homeless for 2.5 years. Took everything, took all the money and everything. I couldn't access anything. So we were homeless, and because I was still on the books with everything, I couldn't get Centrelink or anything like that as well. And then when we got our money, we got a house we rented a house near the school so Sarissa could get into the high school that I wanted her to get into. And then 6 months after that, there was a big hailstorm with the asbestos. Hailstorm that came through, and we had asbestos ceilings that fell onto all of our possessions that in the house that we were renting, and we lost all of our everything. And the insurance didn't cover the asbestos cleanup, but they covered our stuff. So in the end of the day, we basically came out even because I had to pay for the asbestos cleanup. And then we moved into a new place, and 6 months after that, it caught fire and we lost everything again. And so now we've moved into a new house. So I'm really happy that I'm alive because I was directing traffic during the hailstorm. Like after the hail finished, it was just raining. There was a downed power line in the middle of our street, and I directed traffic away from that for 2.5 hours. And when I came back into the house, the ceilings had fallen fully onto the floor. There was only 10% of the ceilings left in the house. So
wow.
we would have been under those ceilings when they fell. We wouldn't have even known that they were going to fall because they just crashed down. You don't get any inkling that they're going to go. And it looked like someone had got a chainsaw and gone around the outside of the roof of the ceiling. And that was filled with asbestos. So, you know, I could have died then. And in this fire, I was hospitalised, but, you know, I have no markings from the fire. I've got a couple actually, but basically no markings from, and no after effects from the fire. So, you know, we are just so lucky to be alive.
Yeah. So you've gone through some, was that, sorry?
That was a bit of a backstory.
Yeah. So you've gone through a lot of traumatic things, and you're just grateful now for what you have, and that you're alive and your family are well and alive.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you most proud of? I think I asked you that. And what excites you? That's your family.
Yeah, my kids are most proud of.
What excites you?
I can't remember what I said before. I don't know now.
What excites you?
I don't know what excites me. Walking the dog.
Walking the dog.
Pretty much what that's exciting. That's how exciting we do.
What do you wish would just go away?
Finance problems.
Mm-hmm.
There's a theme here.
What do you want more of?
Money. As I said.
Yep. What do you think would help get more money?
A job.
Job, yep. How do you want?
Winning first division in the lottery might work too.
Mm-hmm. How do you want to be remembered after you die?
I want to be remembered as a person that was helpful to others.
Mm-hmm.
And overcame all the odds.
Have you ever had a life coach? Would you get one, and why?
No, I've never had a life coach, but I've been told I should be a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be a pretty amazing person for me to get a life coach.
Yeah, and I asked you if it would be Tony Robbins, for example.
Yeah, and I don't know who Tony Robbins is.
Oh, okay. Anthony Robbins? No, wow. Met a person that doesn't know who Tony Robbins is. He was on all the infomercials in the 90s. And he still does these big, huge events.
Really?
He's a
motivational speaker.
Yeah, he's sort of a motivational speaker, life coach.
No.
Okay. I'll share a picture with you later on. You'll be like, oh, that guy.
Yeah, probably. What's his name?
Tony Robbins or Anthony Robbins.
Okay. There you go.
Who inspires you and who are your role models?
No, I still don't know him.
Oh, you
Sorry.
looked him up? Oh, you
Yeah.
just looked him up?
Okay, who inspires me? My dad,
Yep.
and I don't have any role models.
Okay. What are your favourite books and movies, and what TV shows do you watch?
Okay, I watch a TV show called Suits, Suits,
Mhm.
and it's a law and it's a show about lawyers, basically.
Okay.
And Frozen is Frozen and Kung Fu Panda.
Are you right, honey? Starla's just here. She's been watching Jurassic Park. the last
I
one.
love Jurassic World.
Jurassic World, yeah, the fourth one.
I can see you're watching it in the back, and I saw you clapping for $1 as well. Look at my waggy ear. Can you see my waggy ear?
On the tail, yep. See the dot?
My
Do you remember
ear is wagging.
Amanda from The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
With Caesar.
She made
Yeah, I
made all the costumes. Why am I talking in here when I'm talking to her?
You don't have to hold that up. I can hear you.
Did you tell about the Wally Wilmy, the concert you went to?
Yeah. What, Robbie Williams?
Yeah.
Oh, she wanted me to tell you about Robbie Williams, that I went to Robbie Williams.
I know him.
Mum,
Yeah.
you should show the picture.
Yeah, I will later, honey.
Do it now.
Oh, she wants to show you the picture of him.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So she's been learning all about the DNA. She knows how to create a dinosaur now from DNA.
oh, fantastic.
She articulates it really well. She's watched all the well, this is the fourth one now. She's watched the other three.
Classic parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do the same.
So,
Okay. Got
okay.
any more questions? 'Cause I'm
So,
gonna have to go.
okay. So your favorite books and movies. So you said Frozen.
Yeah, Frozen and Kung Fu Panda, and
Panda. What's your favorite book?
Dragon Keeper by Carol Wilkinson.
Yep. Okay. Forget your real age. How old do you feel?
At 70.
70. Do you feel like the world is generally on your side?
Well, okay. Yes, I feel the world is on my side, but it probably isn't.
After what you've been through.
Given what's happened, yes.
Yep. Okay. So what fears do you have that you, or let's just say what fears do you have?
That I'll be alone when my kids leave.
What do you who do you most resent?
No one.
What do you most want to brag about and to whom?
My kids to everyone.
What symbolises success for you?
Being able to do what I want when I want and go on overseas holidays.
Mm-hmm. So being financially free?
Yeah.
Okay. What values do you most want to impart on your children?
Never give up. Always do the right thing, regardless of the consequences. And be happy.
What was
Smile.
the last?
There's nothing to smile about.
What was the last thing that made you happy, sad, angry, and frustrated?
Okay, the last thing that made me happy, can't remember. The last thing that made me frustrated was my daughter was really happy with her hair, then she cut it.
Mm-hmm.
That made me angry too because she keeps doing things to sabotage herself and I'm sick of it. It's angry, frustrated, happy. There you go.
Oh, I see that you typed in the answers to the books and the movies you liked on the bottom there.
Yeah.
Yep, no worries. Who are your biggest heroes?
Don't really have any.
What do you do for fun?
Walk the dog.
Walk the dog. What do you think single mothers most need to hear and why?
That everything's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because in so many times it's hard to know whether you're doing the right thing or not.
Mm-hmm. What are single parents' biggest problems?
Finance.
What do you really dislike or want to change about you?
My health.
Is there anything important for me to know about single mums?
I think we went through that before, didn't we?
Yep. We'll just reiterate on here.
Oh, I tell you one of the things. I can't remember what I said before, but
I think we discussed having company, but you said also
being
sharing.
able to make decisions on your own all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, every decision is your own, and that's the hardest thing. Is you don't have anyone to confer with. You don't have anyone to back you up on discipline. You don't have, like it's just you.
Yeah.
And you're it to the kids.
Mm-hmm. So making decisions about, important things like discipline and all those sorts of things with the kids.
And where you're going to live and finances and what bed you're going to buy.
And I asked you before, do you consider that a bad thing or a good thing? Or it's just different? Yeah, I think you said it was just different.
It's just different.
Yeah.
It's just life. There's no good or bad to it.
Yeah. So I think we covered everything. But yeah, you talked about company, that you wanted more company, like groups of friends, maybe other single parents. Is that right? I remember discussing that before.
Yeah, that's right. I just think that I don't want to be left alone, so I want to be able to, go away with people or have, do things with people.
So would you consider like joining a group of single mums, say, to do outings with?
Yep.
To do fun things with?
Yep.
You talked about Paris too. Paris is somewhere you'd want to go.
Yeah, that's my goal is to get to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have enough money to do it.
Okay. Yeah, that's something to consider. Okay, if I could get like a group of mums that could, we could find a way to get to Paris, get our finances in order, and go to Paris for like a social thing. If that could happen, like, would you consider going, being part of that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sounds awesome.
Why not? We can do whatever we like, really.
Yeah.
So now I've got to go because I've got to go pick up my daughter.
Right. Thank you for joining me, and I'll let you go so you can rush off. And Yay! We got the sound going.
But if you want to do it or talk more, I'm really happy to do it again.
Yep, sure. And we'll talk some more about homeschooling and maybe the single group mum thing. And yeah. Okay, so thank you. I'll let you rush off and enjoy the rest of your day, Amanda. Bye. Bye.